Good afternoon. Don Briggs, your mayor. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. My guest today is Joseph Cliber, principal of Creosote Effects, a national award-winning educational marketing and branding agency right here in Emmitsburg, out on East Main Street. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll give some updates here real quickly, and then we'll on the COVID situation, then we'll come back with some questions for you. Thank you for coming, Joe. Okay, we are still in Maryland Strong Roadmap to Recovery. As of June 5th, we're in stage 2, and that permits bars and restaurants and barbershops, salons to be open, and churches, other places of worship. As of this morning, the confirmed COVID information status is state testing volume 1,503,630. Confirmed cases 97,384. Persons tested negative 981,454. Deaths 3,474. Plus 7 in the last 24 hours. Frederick County, we have 3,118 cases, 114 deaths, 7 probable related deaths. In our zip code, no change, 32 confirmed cases. For the state, ICU beds are down, the demand for acute beds demand is down, total beds down. So it's a sort of a positive shift here in the last couple of days. We have COVID testing at the Seton Center every Tuesday, 12 to 2 p.m. There's no charge, no appointments needed. For further information, please call the Seton Center at 301-447-6102. 301-447-6102. We're still in the voluntary restraints on water due to the lack of rain, and we've got some storms coming in today and tomorrow, so I'll see if that changes. Pool's open. Capacity is set at 111 by special health department conditions. Bear with us. Mask required for entry to the pool area and changing areas and when talking to lifeguards. Lions Club will again run the snack bar. Census 2020, the closing date is September 30th. We are at 68.4% as compared to 50% at this time in 2010. So we're up, and this is $18,000 over a 10-year period for each person who responds to the census, or $1,800 a year that goes into our local community, or Frederick County, and which comes back to us. Joe, thank you for coming over today. You're a national award-winning educational marketing and branding agency. You partner with schools of almost every kind, including colleges, universities, day and boarding, independent schools, to advance their important work. For nearly 20 years, Creosote Effects has delivered unprecedented results for admissions and advancement efforts. Thank you, and it's good to have you as a business right here in town, in our town. And you live right across the border in Fairfield, and you had 3 children who were educated here at Mother Seton, and they're 2 of them are off to college. One of them's a senior now, and it's an interesting time. I'm sure they are there. But tell me a little bit more about your business and how you got started and how that all came about.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Mayor Briggs. Good to be here. Happy to see you healthy. My career path landed me at one point in time at Mount St. Mary's University as a communications person. So at that time, the Mount was changing from a solely PR kind of office, public relations,
Right.
To marketing and communications. So I left a very large association to really kind of dedicate my talents to something that I believed in strongly,
Right.
which is education. So I worked for the Mount for about 5 years. I learned a lot there under President George Houston. And when George was retiring, I decided that I didn't want to continue at the Mount, and also decided that I wanted to start my own team to be able to serve education and not just one school. So that was about 17 years ago, I think. So I've been in and around education probably for more than 20 years now.
Right.
And yeah, it keeps you on your toes because education keeps evolving and growing to meet the needs of what communities have in terms of skill sets and employment, and how they deliver instruction as well. So it's always very interesting, and it's really rewarding work because when you can, I think, align a student or a family's goals in terms of their educational path with what it is that they want to accomplish personally, it's really rewarding to know that you've helped them find that school that meets their needs. So keeps us going. We're a staff of about 10 people. Not everybody is local, but we certainly employ about 5 or 6 local people.
Right.
That are right here on East Main Street most days, not given the
Right.
current situation. But, and Emmitsburg has been a really great home for us. I bought a piece of real estate here about 5 years ago that another local person, a high school classmate of mine, had rehabbed a property completely. Flipped the place, and I just was, driving down the street one day, and I saw his truck at this property, and I was looking for a place to move my business. So I dropped in and said to him, "Hey, I want to buy this place," and I worked with him, and of course I worked with you and the town council to actually change the zoning of that to be like commercial.
Mhm.
So yeah, we don't have visitors, or clients that come to our office. For people to understand, we're probably more of a consultancy. So, we go to the schools all over the country. They don't ever come to Emmitsburg. So, yeah, it's been a great home for us. It's convenient for us to get to BWI and catch a flight to get to schools. Again, coronavirus excluded. But yeah, and as you mentioned, I had 3 kids that went to Mother Seton School. Creosote has helped Mother Seton also over the years. I've given my time pro bono to the school, and our lead writer is now on the board at Mother Seton School. So when we started the business, it made sense to be close to them. My wife was not local in her employment, so now I can literally see the school from my office. It wasn't always the case, and now they're grown and, like you said, on to college, and my youngest is a senior in high school. But yeah, it's just been a wonderful home for our business and a great place to raise 3 kids.
With the coronavirus, any major, well, there have been major adjustments, but any difference with your approach in business or anything?
Yeah, I think what we're facing as marketing and branding professionals is more of a short-term strategy for our clients and our schools. There's so much uncertainty as to how the reopening this fall semester is going to go. Uncertainty, obviously, around the health and safety of students of all ages. So it's really kind of forced us to evaluate how we propose solutions to our clients, meaning, solutions used to have a 3 to 5 year kind of shelf life. And in this environment and the landscape with the virus, really we've got to take a closer look at evolving strategies more rapidly to be able to help schools. So as their circumstances within their state, within their districts change, we've got to be there for them to evaluate what that means in terms of their marketing and their ability to strengthen their brand. So yeah, and obviously it's a lot more digital these days. So lots of digital strategies in the way we refer to it in kind of search and social media, advertising, pay-per-click ads, Google AdWords, things like that. So that's always been part of our strategies, but given that everybody's home, and less so these days with the concern around packaging and mail actually carrying the virus, that I think we've recognized that that's not the case. We don't have to keep packages outside for 48 hours anymore. So mail is still important, but the digital strategy is definitely a priority for all of our clients.
Well, we shifted to virtual meetings in this new phenomenon of Zoom.
Right. Yeah.
Is that, most of your meetings are like that?
All day long, yeah, all day long. It's, I don't know about you, but I find it incredibly taxing.
Yeah.
To be in front of the screen all day, staring at yourself and other people. I'll leave this time with you and go speak with a university president on Zoom. It's just the way that everybody is conducting business right now. And thankfully we have it. I tell my kids regularly that consider yourselves fortunate that technology and where we are today allows you to continue your studies even at the university level. Because when we were kids, school would be over. Like we wouldn't make progress in our education if this were the case for us.
Right.
We would be home and not being able to learn effectively. So Zoom's a real thing, and I think it's here to stay. Fortunately, our business was already doing a lot of video conferencing with clients to save on travel expenses and things like that. So we were already versed in Zoom before it really took off. So it really does, though, exhaust me personally, just staring at the screen all day long. I like to get up and move around, have face-to-face interactions with people. I will say, I think that's the one area where we're challenged as a team is the collaboration of ideas. So our process kind of pulls together a lot of data through our own research and secondary research. Interpreting data and collaborating then on strategies to help a school. In my opinion, happens a whole lot better in person than over a Zoom call.
Absolutely. I think you mentioned that we were talking beforehand that a case of a student who's in college out of state, he's in California, and he said, could you relate that story?
Yeah, I think the big concern, of course, for many schools are tuition revenue. If kids are not coming back to campus and not having the full experience of athletics, all the wonderful facilities, libraries, gyms, food, all these things that tuition affords them to have as their student experience, what's the value then of that experience when you're sitting at home at the kitchen table or in your bedroom on Zoom calls, or just getting through coursework. You know, and it is a question mark for parents with children at every age. So yeah, the what you're mentioning is a university where out-of-state parents are wondering, if we're not coming back to campus, then really, you know, we're not an out-of-state student anymore. You know, we're a stay-at-home student, and do we need to pay, you know, the out-of-state tuition price for this experience?
Right.
You know, that's one question out of thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably every day that parents are asking. And, you know, there's been for many years, you know, lots of debate around education in this country and its cost. Higher education has inflated its cost 1,400% over the last 40 years. That's more than healthcare. No other industry in the world has inflated its costs that much. I understand why. We won't get into it in this conversation, but for parents and students, it's hard to understand how an education can cost them so much.
Absolutely.
And, you know, of course, with the economy, you know, household incomes remain pretty stagnant. You know, the only increase in income is in the 1% in this country. You know, everybody else is just hanging on. So now you have coronavirus and you're not able to deliver, you know, the face-to-face instruction and the relationship with your professors or teachers that have been proven through, you know, numerous studies nationally, worldwide, that is of huge benefit to the student's development and academic achievement. So when that's compromised, what's it worth? So, you know, the long and short of it is lots of schools are going to try to come back in person because without it, the chances are they're going to lose tuition revenue. And for many schools, that's going to be really hard for them. So, yeah, our job then is right through the pandemic is you still have to communicate what is of great value to consumers. And, you know, that's what we're involved in right now. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, I'm going to come right back to you in a minute. I'm going to go over a few more things. Thank you, Jake, Joe. Just some updates. As far as we know, I was out there the other day. The Dunkin' Donuts is proceeding along its plan and should be open the first part of September. The farmers market is open Fridays 3 to 6:30 at the lot by the community center right out here. Good fresh produce and more. Very good. There is Little League baseball this weekend, and it's be Thermont Emmitsburg against the Gettysburg team. They'll be playing at our fields here in town. Yard waste Saturdays, open date Saturday, August 15th. Again, only paper, recyclable bags will be accepted. No plastic bags will be accepted. The site is located on the east side of US 15 on Creamery Road at the wastewater treatment plant. We're closing out our grant to businesses, and we really appreciate everybody who's taking advantage of that, and we're going to move in a little different direction with some of the money that's left over at this time. Our next town meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 8th. That's Tuesday, September 8th at 7:30. It will be a virtual meeting here in the town. Okay, final thoughts, Joe. What do you see short term, midterm, long term?
Well, short term, we're wading into it right now. You know, schools are reopening. They're going to try. Many are trying in-person, face-to-face instruction again with obvious, you know, protocols in place, social distancing and mask wearing and sanitation and all of that. Which, you know, I wish all those schools a lot of luck. I think midterm, you know, I really feel like, given the uncertainty of how the virus is not being mitigated and how it's morphing like what the flu does, I really think that, you know, 3 weeks from now, we're gonna see another transition in how schools are managing. And long-term, you know, the great news is schools have adapted rapidly to deliver instruction remotely. And, you know, I've been amazed by that transformation. And, you know, I think we have the right generation to learn the way that many schools are going to have to instruct their students. And you know, I wish all the families and the students well. It's challenging for them. You know, I just heard the Pac-12 and Big Ten, no football this fall. That's depressing, but, you know, best thing we can do is keep our kids healthy and safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for coming by, and on behalf of myself, the town council, and our staff, we want to thank you for taking the time to come by, and it's really great to have a business like you're here in Emmitsburg. It means a lot, and I know you've been under a sort of siege with the bridge,
Yeah, that's been-
bridge completion. That's almost done, except for that trailer in part of your office, and we're trying to get that taken care of for you, and what they have some remaining work.
Well,
But
it's been a nice, I mean, it's beautiful what they did. You know, it's improved the road frontage for our office, so, yeah, it'll get cleaned up, and, you know, we've been at home, so it hasn't bothered us.
right, you're good.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate, you know, everything the town does to allow us to operate here.
Well, thank you, Frank Joe. All right, thank you. We'll be back next week with another guest, and thank you for your time today.